Alright, so all of you are studying for your exams, and I'm going to help you to do your last minute prep for your exam, and some of the tips I'm going to give you in this quick conversation. Now before I get to that tips, let me tell you how our mind works. I'm sure all of you have heard this, that we have two parts of our mind. One part is known as the intellect, for which all of us are studying for so many months, and that serves us very well during the exams. Whatever we remember, we get to deliver very well in the exam. And the second part is our emotion or our feeling, right? Both are equally important. I'm sure you've heard your parents or the guardians or people, teachers tell you that, hey, stay calm during the exams, be relaxed, and imagine if you are able to solve a problem and you're not able to get the formula in the exam, and what are you telling yourself? And you imagine someone telling, oh my god, I forgot about this. How can I forget? I just studied it just before coming for the paper. I actually read that formula. What the hell it is? This is always wrong with me. I always forget. Why can't I remember? If you're doing all that, you will imagine this individual will not remember, and he or she will actually not do quite well in the other parts of the paper as well, right? So it does happen, right? So the emotion and the feeling has an impact, and it'll impact the other, which is the intellect. It's the same way how camera works. Think about it. Camera has two parts: the lens, and how, if you have to get the right picture, the lens is important, and how stably you have kept the camera, right? You're holding it or you're putting on the tripod. Both are equally important. Now imagine if you have the best of the best lens and the camera is not stable, it will affect the quality of picture. And the vice versa is true. If you have the best stability of the camera but the lens is not as good, then you will not get the best picture. In the same way, our mind works. And I'm sure all of us have studied all through the year, or you're studying all through the year for the intellect. So the memory will serve you. Now what you perhaps have not worked on is the emotion and feeling. How do I stay calm? How do I relax myself? How do I prepare myself for that part of, to make the emotions play well for me, is what I'm going to tell you. Alright, so who am I to tell you all this? I have 21 years of experience myself, and I do a lot of work with teenagers like you to support you to get the best result, what you want to have. From a career standpoint, from goal setting standpoint, building your ambition, feeling relaxed, making yourself more confident. And that's exactly what I do as a teenager coach. And I'm going to give you quick tips, 4 tips for you before the exam, and you can use them as you're preparing for this exam. Right, here you go. Tip number 1. So what you need to know as the first question is, what are your exam timings? And typically, I'm sure 15 to 20 days before your exams, you're aware of your exam timing. And this tip works very well in that time. What are you trying to do in this? In that, if your exams, for example, is, let's say at 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock, and you know about that. So every day you are preparing in that 11 to 1 p.m. zone. You are studying, you're solving papers, or you're reading up, you're doing something which is related to a study in that 11 to 1 zone, because you're preparing your body to get adjusted to that timing. And the more you do it, the better you feel when you actually come to the day of the exam, because you'll not feel nervous at all, because your body is already acclimated towards that time. Of course, the environment will be different, that's the only thing, but rest everything, you've kept doing that because you've done that for 15 to 20 days ahead of the exam, right? So that's the tip number 1 for you. All right, the tip number 2. Now, did you know that there are 3 people who goes to the exam? Yeah, you must be surprised what I'm talking about. Yeah, exactly. You, as well as 2 more, which is your internal mind chatter. You will notice that mind chatter happens constantly. As you're preparing for the exam, till the exam, and in the exam, there are always, you will find there is a mind chatter. And what are these mind chatter? Let's just go back to that example of you're not remembering that maths formula. So see the chatter. The one chatter is, oh, you're not good enough. See, you've forgotten. Oh my God, what will happen if you've forgotten this, and you'll not be able to, such an easy problem you've forgotten. And there's a second chatter, which is also happening, which is often a squeaky voice. It's telling you, don't worry, it's okay. You get back to it. Keep it, park it, come back. You will remember it. And they're like, no, I mean, I'll forget. I mean, I don't know if I want to see the next question. Let me finish this first. Let me wait and remember. And the other voice is saying no. And then there's jostling happening. And then you take that decision. Okay, let me park it, or let me continue my jostle and waste my time, right? So it influences you. The self-chat or the mind chatter impacts you. And we need to be aware of this mind chatter, because that mind chatter is not just appearing during exam, it's happening with you every day. If a friend who has pinged you that he or she will call you and he or she is not called, and you are like studying something and say, see, she didn't call, or he didn't call, or she always does that, and the other mind is saying, no, she will call you. No, she will not call me, and I know it. She purposely does that, or he purposely does that. So what you need to do is be aware. That's step one. Be aware of these mind chatter or self-talk, which happens to all of us, right? And second, tune in and give the positive voice more weight, right? Like a conductor of an orchestra. Increase the voice of the positive and let it influence you. Like in the exam, make yourself feel comfortable that, all right, I'm going to solve this problem later on. So the tip number 3 is about distraction. Yeah, so I'm sure all of us face that a lot. And how do I prepare myself as I'm studying? In the last minute preparation, one of the things you need to do is keep your mobile phones away as much as possible. So visual cue, one of the visual cue which makes you distract is the mobile phones. So keep it outside your space area. Put it in the other room, give it to your parents, do something, and earn the right to actually see it after an hour or so. And the second in that is you can use something called as Pomodoro technique, which means every time you sit to study, you study for 25 minutes. That's the block, one chunk of 25 minutes before you get up. So you're focusing and you are not doing anything else in that 25 minutes. So research have proven that 25 minutes you can focus very well, and then you can take a 5-minute stretch break. So you can search on something known as Pomodoro technique. So that's the third tip for you. And let me tell you the fourth and the most important thing. And this tip is about sleep. How do I ensure I get the best sleep? Because sleep impacts a lot into your body and your feelings as well. So you need to have good night's sleep, and you need to train yourself to have a good night's sleep. Now, how do you do that? So let me show you a simple tip which a lot of military folks and the Navy SEALs folks do it. It's called wrap-up exercise, because they have a very tiring workout and they have to sleep very quickly, and they get only 3 to 4 hours to sleep. So they can't be tossling while they're sleeping. When they get to the bed, they are like fast asleep. How do you get to that state? To get to that state, there's a simple exercise called wrap-up exercise, and this is a part of a yoga exercise as well. All you need to do is just before your sleep time, 10 minutes ahead or 15 minutes ahead of your sleep, while sitting on the bed, all you need to do is remember, if you're sleeping at 10:30 or 11 o'clock, remember everything happened yesterday 11 p.m. till now. Recollect. So what you're doing is you're trying to consciously bring the subconscious memory into the conscious by bringing chunks, broad chunks from 11 p.m. yesterday to 11 p.m. now. So, all you need to do is, okay, what happened in 11 p.m.? Okay, I slept, I couldn't sleep, then I got up, I went for exercising, then I had a great breakfast, I had a great milk and chocolate, like that. Broad events. You're not going very minute, but broad events like a chunk in 10 minutes, 8 to 10 minutes, you are actually remembering what happened in that from 11 p.m. yesterday to 11 p.m. now. And what you're trying to do is you're sharpening your memory, because you're able to try to recollect. So that's another benefit. And also you're releasing everything which is coming from a subconscious to conscious. So it gets released. So while you sleep, there's nothing in the subconscious, because you already brought those memories back from a consciousness, and it will go away. So you will relax faster and you get quick sleep. So please try that, and that will help you. See, these are 4 tips for you, and if you like it, comment and subscribe.